Ethan had always made an effort to treat people kindly, so when his elderly neighbor Mabel seemed in need of support, he didn't hesitate to welcome her into his home. He wasn't looking for anything in return, but just 2 days later, a knock at his door would turn his world upside down in ways he never saw coming. Hi everyone, and welcome to Life Tales. Let's dive in. At 31, Ethan was a devoted single father, raising his 6-year-old daughter Lily. Ever since Lily was 3, it had just been the two of them after a tragic car accident took the life of Ethan's wife. Unfortunately, Ethan hadn't come from a loving family himself. His father had been aggressive and controlling, and his mother struggled heavily with alcohol. The household was so toxic that by the age of 16, Ethan couldn't take the emotional and physical torment any longer, so he left home for good. 2 years later, fate led him to the woman who would become Lily's mother. They fell fast and hard for each other, and it marked a whole new beginning in Ethan's life. She was slightly older than him and financially well off, so Ethan moved into her home. Not something he had originally planned, but a change he deeply appreciated, especially after escaping the chaos of his past. As time went on, their love only grew stronger. Their connection was deep, and eventually, it led to the arrival of their daughter, Lily, a little beam of light who brought happiness and hope into their lives. When Lily's mom passed away, Ethan poured everything he had into raising his daughter. He vowed to give her the kind of love and care he had never received growing up. Wanting to shield her from the kind of negativity he had endured, he made the difficult decision to cut ties with his own family once and for all. Around a year after her passing, Ethan and Lily were forced to relocate. Their previous neighborhood had become too expensive, and Ethan needed somewhere more affordable. Somewhere he could provide a stable home and a fresh start for them both. Their new neighborhood came with a surprise: an elderly woman named Mabel, who lived next door. She was in her early 70s and had a kind, gentle manner about her. Mabel lived alone with her cat, rarely receiving visitors, not even from her own children. Each time she spotted Ethan and Lily, she would greet them with a warm smile and a friendly wave. In fact, during their very first week in the neighborhood, Mabel baked a homemade welcome cake and brought it over to their doorstep. Her kindness didn't go unnoticed. Ethan began helping Mabel from time to time, especially with the heavier chores around her home. During snowy winter mornings, he'd shovel her driveway without being asked. If she needed help replacing a light bulb or carrying groceries, she'd politely ask, and Ethan was always glad to assist. Over the next few months, this routine created a quiet bond between them, a simple, steady friendship built on neighborly care and mutual respect. One afternoon, as Ethan and Lily sat discussing plans for her upcoming 7th birthday, she caught him off guard with a sweet and unexpected request. She wanted to invite Mabel to their dinner celebration. It was originally just going to be a small, intimate evening for the two of them, but Lily thought it would be special to include their kind neighbor. "Are you sure about that, sweetheart?" Ethan asked, clearly surprised by the suggestion. "Yes, Dad. I really want her to come. She's always so nice, and I like her," Lily replied sincerely. "All right," Ethan said thoughtfully. "But if I ask her, you promise you won't change your mind tomorrow?" "I promise. I've already made up my mind. It'll be lovely to have her there," Lily said, smiling. "Okay then. I'll go ahead and invite her," Ethan nodded. Ethan was genuinely taken aback by Lily's request. Since her mother's death, she had shown little interest in birthdays or any kind of celebration. Even getting her to agree to a simple dinner had taken gentle persuasion. So this sudden desire to include someone else, especially Mabel, was both touching and unexpected. The next morning, just as Ethan was about to head out for work, he noticed Mabel on her front porch. She was sitting quietly, crocheting something intricate while softly humming to herself. "Good morning, Mabel," Ethan called out as he approached. "Good morning, Ethan. And how are you today? And how's our little butterfly doing?" Mabel asked with a cheerful smile. "We're both doing great. Lily's already off to school," he replied. "Would you like a cup of tea? I can put the kettle on," Mabel offered kindly. "Oh, no thank you. I'm already full. Just had breakfast," Ethan said with a chuckle. "Actually, I came over to see if you'd be interested in joining us for Lily's birthday dinner this Saturday. She asked me to invite you." Mabel's face lit up with delight. "Really?" she asked, eyes twinkling with excitement. Ethan smiled. "Yes, but of course, if you've already got plans, we'll understand." Plans? Of course not, Mabel said with a laugh. I wouldn't miss Lily's birthday for the world. Thanks, Mabel. I've got to get to work now, but I'll see you soon, Ethan said. Have a wonderful day, Ethan. And thank you so much for thinking of me, she said with genuine warmth as he waved goodbye. 3 days later, Lily's birthday finally arrived. Luckily, it was a Saturday, giving Ethan the whole day to prepare. He cooked, cleaned, and made sure everything was just right. By 6:30 p.m., while Lily was still arranging the table with her usual care, there came a knock at the door. I've got it, Ethan said, quickly heading over to answer it. Good evening, Mabel. You're right on time, please. Come in, Ethan greeted her warmly. Mabel stepped inside with a beaming smile, carrying 2 large boxes overflowing with gifts for Lily. She handed them to Ethan as she walked in, her eyes scanning the cozy interior of their home. This place is lovely, Mabel said as she looked around, taking in the warm, welcoming space. It was her very first time stepping inside their home. Mabel, you actually came. I'm so happy you're here, Lily said, practically bouncing with excitement as she wrapped her arms around Mabel in a cheerful hug. Thank you for having me, my sweet butterfly, Mabel said with a soft smile, touched by the girl's affection. Okay, everyone, dinner's ready, Ethan announced, motioning for them to head over to the dining table. That evening turned out to be something special for all of them, but especially for Mabel. For the first time in what felt like ages, she let herself speak freely and laugh without holding back. She played silly games with Lily, shared funny stories, and even cracked a few jokes of her own. Sitting at the table with Ethan and Lily made her realize just how much she'd missed having company. She hadn't felt this kind of warmth in a long time, and she treasured every moment. After a long night filled with laughter, conversation, and good food, Mabel eventually made her way home, her face glowing with gratitude. She paused at the door, turned to Ethan, and thanked him from the bottom of her heart for inviting her. What Ethan didn't know was that Mabel was far from ordinary. She was, in fact, quite wealthy. But despite her financial success, she lived in solitude. Her children had grown distant over the years, with 2 of them cutting ties altogether because of mistakes she'd made in the past. Mabel had quietly accepted the loneliness, never expecting to be part of a caring circle again until Ethan and Lily welcomed her so warmly. 2 days after the birthday dinner, Ethan was at home enjoying a quiet afternoon when a knock echoed from the front door. He wasn't expecting visitors, so curiosity crept in as he headed over to see who it might be. Maybe it's Mabel again, he thought hopefully. But it wasn't her. Standing outside was a man in a sharp black suit. Good afternoon, sir, the man said politely. Good afternoon. Can I help you with something? Ethan asked, a bit puzzled. I'm here to deliver these, the man replied, handing over a small stack of documents. Ethan took the papers, flipping through the first page. I'm sorry, but I think there's been some mistake. I'm not in a position to buy this house. I can only afford to rent for now, he said honestly. The man smiled gently. There's no mistake, Ethan. The house is already in your name. Your neighbor, Mabel, purchased it for you and asked that I bring you the official documents. Ethan froze for a second, completely caught off guard. I don't get it. Is this a joke? He asked, his voice filled with disbelief. It's all very real, the man assured him. But if you still have questions, you can speak with Mabel directly. And with that, he turned and left. Ethan didn't waste a second. He bolted straight to Mabel's house, his heart pounding with emotion. Luckily, she was relaxing in the living room when he arrived. Mabel, is it true? Did you actually buy that apartment for me? Ethan asked, still trying to wrap his head around it. Well, good afternoon to you too, Ethan, Mabel chuckled. And yes, it's true. I figured you loved the place, and I wanted you to have it. But how? Why would you do something like that? He asked, still stunned. It's simple, she said softly. It was my way of thanking you. That dinner, your kindness. It meant more to me than you'll ever know. Mabel, I don't even know what to say. This is more than I could have ever imagined. Thank you, Ethan said, his voice full of emotion. You're always welcome at our place. In fact, get ready. We're celebrating tonight. That evening, Mabel joined them once again. This time not just as a neighbor or a guest, but as someone who was truly part of the family. As time went by, her visits became more frequent until, eventually, she felt like a permanent presence in their lives. Ethan, grateful for her generosity, treated Mabel with the same love and care he would have shown his own mother. And in return, she brought even more warmth and joy into their home. Years passed, and eventually Mabel passed away. But by then, Her impact on Ethan and Lily's life had become something unforgettable. Standing quietly in the home she'd gifted them, Ethan reflected on everything that had happened. Mabel's selfless gesture had reminded him of something so simple, yet so powerful, that compassion matters, especially during life's hardest moments. He realized that kindness doesn't always come with a reward, but it always leaves a mark. And from that point on, Ethan made a quiet promise to himself to pass on the same kind of compassion and generosity that Mabel had once shown him and his daughter. Because at the end of the day, kindness isn't about grand gestures, it's about the small things, done with heart. Enjoyed this story? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more heartfelt tales. And if you're still with us, there's another story waiting for you, just click the video on your screen. Until next time.